we here? Are we here? Are we here? I would like to introduce y'all to the Most Wise Fleet of Belly. This here is Black Renaissance Podcast. And we got a nice, good show planned for y'all today. We got a nice one for y'all. We will be getting into new black media appreciation. If we could just get everything to load right on our end and all that, it look like we having a few little technical difficulties on behalf of YouTube. But anyway, we're gonna get it right. We're gonna get right into it. It's the Most Wise Fleet of Belly. We here. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I want that old school. Yeah, I want that old thing back. Oh, yeah, I want that new school. But anyway, we're going to get into it. We're going to jump right in.
Cross finger, baby.
I don't know. I kind of like the new vibe, bro. I feel like I could get jiggy with it. But anyway, it's new Black Media Appreciation Month, and we here, and we are here to let y'all know that we can't let this lead that we have developed get away from us. We have to, and when I say we have to, I mean we have to. Oh, hold on. Let me do something real quick. I forgot. I'm doing too much. I forgot this thing to start throttling and all that. When I got too much things pulling on the Wi-Fi and all that, man. I gotta be more mindful about the Wi-Fi, about the how we move this thing through and all that, so that people get a better, clearer view of the situation. But anyway, let's get into it, man. This here is the Most Wise Fleet of Belly Black Renaissance Podcast. We are here. So I wanted to speak on a few things. As you can see, TBA, his broadcast is, the war to erase Black history. And I'm gonna be real with y'all.
It's cost
I be trying. You know what it is sometimes, man. I be trying to shine on y'all and all that, but it is what it is, man. Fuck it is what it is. Let me get on my shit. Let me get to my most wise shit and all that, man. There we go. Now we here. There we go. Now we here. You know what I'm saying? Now we here. Oh yeah. Let's go. So a lot of the times, people feel as if the new black media appeared out of nowhere and all that. And I want y'all to know something, man. I want y'all to know that, we've been here, man. We've been here. We've been doing this right here, man. We've been out here, but I want to take y'all back to the beginning to the beginning of a lot of this FBA stuff, and it's been 10 years in the making. It's really been 10 years in the making right here, man. And I want y'all to hear something right here, man. This right here,
was that we and the leaders, the so-called black leaders, which is, that's a questionable thing right there, because we don't really have black leaders like we used to. The black leaders you might be talking about is Jesse Jackson and Sharpton, and a lot of people that are
about the huge disconnect between perceptions of whites and blacks. And
so just to give y'all a little bit of clarity and all that, this right here was an old call or interview that Tariq Nasheed had with a sister by the name of Wendy Wright from the DC area. And the sister, she was one of those old school. She was one of those ain't no white supremacy, ain't no discrimination. And we was hearing a lot of that in 2009, 2010. Obama was still in office. So a lot of people was really a lot of people had their blinders on. And this is around the time that Obama just got into office, because he stepped into office 2008. So we got to walk out through this period of history and all that. That's why it's important for the new black media to document what takes place. That's why it's important for us to do what it is that we're doing. And I took a month off. Because I needed y'all. When I needed y'all, I needed myself to get my mind right, to get a lot of things in order mentally and stuff like that. But this has been 10 years in the making. Well, actually 12, 13. But I want to take y'all back to the beginning, because y'all may not understand where we was and how far we have came, and why it's very important that we speak up.
16% of white people don't
Shout
even think discrimination exists.
Right, I heard about that study. I heard about it on the radio on another station today. I understand that. But the thing,
when we're talking...
But let's go back to your point. I don't want to get too lost with your point, because your point was, and you kept driving this point home, was that we and the leaders, the so-called black leaders, which is, that's a questionable thing right there, because we don't really have black leaders like we used to. The black leaders you might be talking about is Jesse Jackson and Sharpton, and a lot of people that are controlled by the white establishment. These are not real black leaders, by the way. And I'm not, Sharpton does great work, and Jesse has done great things. I'm not trying to minimize what they do, but we have to look at everything in the whole context.
Right, we're on the same page there. That's what I was saying. They're the ones that the media, or for some reason, they're given they're allowed to speak for all of us, and they have not done a good job of that. And that's why I was saying, because of what they did, when we are speaking and trying to fight for justice, it's falling on deaf ears. It's defeating the purpose of what we're trying to accomplish, because of what the Sharptons and the Reverend Jacksons did. And that's
okay, but we're talking about two different things now. That I can understand that, but you were making it seem like, well, not even making it seem, you were very adamant about me saying that they hid our history. We shouldn't say that. We shouldn't say that. We shouldn't say that. No, because we should come up with different strategies. You kept driving that point home, and that's the point I really disagree with.
No. The only time I addressed that was when you said, whenever we present our history, we're seen as revolutionary and radical and all that. And I was like, well, maybe it's the way we're marketing it.
Wendy, you were like, but
you see, that was a lot of the sentiment back in 2009, 2010. I remember I lived it. I lived it, A lot of the sentiment was, kind of be quiet, let white people speak up to those type of situations. Authors like Robin DiAngelo with White Fragility, let those people speak to the the racism that's taking place in the community. And unfortunately, I am going to have to rush through this a little bit. I got like 20 minutes here. I want to watch WrestleMania and all that. You know, the Bloodline lost yesterday or whatever the case may be, lost the tag team championship. And I really want to see what's going on with this Cody Rhodes situation. Shout out to all my wrestling fans and all that. But yeah, so in 2009, 2010, there wasn't really a feel for the need to buck against the system, to organize, to unite our people and continue this push forward in destroying white supremacy. You know, the media tried to let us feel as if Barack Obama single-handedly destroyed white supremacy, in which he did not. He just put the veil over white supremacy. What he did, he put the glasses on white supremacy. You feel me? He put the glasses on white supremacy. Oh, night one was definitely fire, and night two should be even better. You see my guy Montez Ford and all that. My son came through with the backflip and all that. I was playing it, but then it was like, you know, the Wi-Fi and all that. But you know, I'm gonna keep it quick and all. I'm gonna keep it quick. I got some stuff written down and all that and bum bum. You know, I ain't gonna keep y'all here too long and all that. But yeah, so around this time. I swear, living in the Bronx, man, all types of weird noises just come out of nowhere. Like, what the heck is that? Like, yo, what? Yo, I swear, man, New York City. Anyway, so this is the type of people that we have. People like Wendy Wright. And Tariq Nasheed actually spoke about her the other day on his broadcast when he was speaking on the beginnings of the woke movement and stuff like that, which made me go back to this phone call. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've only been listening to Tariq Nasheed since 2020. But I try to go back because he has so much content, so much material. Like, you could teach a master course on just like Tariq Nasheed and stuff like that. And hopefully, you know, one day in the future, we could build some type of a FBA academy with all of these lessons that our master teachers like Tariq Nasheed, Jason Black, Kabi Kamin and all that, put them all together and maybe make some type of course for it, right? Or make April an award season. But I digress.
Whole interview saying that
I
we
couldn't
shouldn't
recall
say
what
this,
you had said.
but no, you were saying that we whites,
I'm gonna tap in.
we shouldn't shove it down their throats. We shouldn't do this. You like the film. This is your words. You said that you like the idea of the film, but just the negative undertone of saying they hit our history. We shouldn't say that. And I so disagree with that.
Oh, and I'll tell you why I was doing that.
Why were you doing that, Wendy?
The only reason it was only in response to when you were saying, when we talk about you said black elites who know this history are
right.
afraid to talk about it because they're seen as revolutionary and
right.
radical and whatever. And I said, well, maybe it's because of the way it's marketed.
That's another thing I don't quite understand. What do you mean?
I don't know. Why would they think that our history is radical? That's what I was only.
You can market it anyway. If you acknowledge any of your history outside of slavery and really civil rights, for some reason you will be labeled as a radical. You're labeled as militant, so to speak. This is why.
Who has put history out there that's been dumped that's been labeled radical?
Who's what now?
Who has put some history out there that was labeled radical?
Who has?
Yeah.
There's several people.
All the people in your film, were they all labeled radical because they wrote about it and stuff?
A lot of them are. Like Shahrazad Ali, they pulled her through the ringer when she was on the talk show circuit in the 90s. Oh, they were hell on that woman. Frances Cress Welsing, they were hell on Frances Cress Welsing. All the speakers, these people had to fight.
Even now?
Even now, absolutely. Even now they do. Dr. Umar Johnson, they're hell on this brother. He's out there fighting, getting things together for the school system. So all of the speakers were considered radical speakers for saying what they had to say. And this is why I wanted to do a film to really show their side of the game in a mainstream setting, to put it in theaters and put it out there with a nice production to show how everything makes sense and how everything is pertinent to today's issues.
Now, the reason why I played that excerpt from the interview is because it speaks to what we need to like the foundation of what FBA is and our importance in the new black media, right? And our importance in the new black media would be our importance in the new black media. It would be
Cost finger, baby.
it would be us disseminating this type of information, making sure that our people get debriefed every day. See, today I was sitting here thinking, what would my latest YouTube video be? What can I speak to that could reintroduce my people at a time of need, you know, when they need it the most? When we have frauds like Stevie Harvey saying, we get our strength from Africa. When we have compromised Negroes like the lead attorney and Ho Budden perpetrating the fraud online, acting as if they speak for black society, when in all actuality, they are complicit in running defense for white supremacy. How do you come back with a message for the people, the message that the people need to hear, without it falling flat on deaf ears? These are the things that I was thinking about today. These are the things that I was thinking about as I was preparing this statement for my FBA brothers and sisters. This video today is not some award ceremony or something like that. Shout out to the people that's in the thumbnail and stuff like that, but this is more a message. This is a message. This is a message to those brothers that's going to participate in this new black media space. None of my videos is about views. Look at God. God was like, nigga, you lying. But seriously, none of my videos are about views. It's always about a message. It's always about communicating directly with the people I want to communicate with those brothers and sisters, those generals, those lieutenants that's in top positions. This is who I'm speaking to. If it gets to the 15 top generals in black society, that's all that matters to me. Because communication, the lack of communications will lead to the black degradation. So us communicating now inspires me. That's why this is the perfect month that came into existence for new black media appreciation. The 4th month of the year, the actual New Year's to be exact. Because some say that the real origin of April Fool's Day is New Year's. The actual joke of April Fool's Day is the fact that in the 1500s, they changed the New Year to January. That's why in China it may be February or whatever. But what if the actual New Year begun yesterday? Which speaks to Jesus' resurrection, right? Which speaks to the rebirth, right? But that's a conspiracy theory. As some people like to call it. But the esoteric beauty of the number 4, which has been reclaimed by modern black society, shows that we are now stepping into our own. As I stated before, we are now in the dawn of the black renaissance, something that will be spoken about for thousands of years. This war is not just physical, but it's spiritual. And before we could win the war with white supremacy on the outside, we must first defeat white supremacy that lies dormant within. The white supremacy that tells us we cannot achieve anything worth achieving. The white supremacy that tells us that we cannot defeat the Gestapo law enforcement or the crony corrupt government. That's the white supremacy that lies within your own heart. You got to defeat that first before you go out into the field and defeat the real white supremacy. Before you defeat the real bigots and anti-black perpetrators.
It's Cosfinger, baby.
Yes, I took a break in the month of May, as I shall do annually. That shit comes around. And going forward, expect more breaks. In the month of March, in the month of September.
It's Cosfinger, baby.
Because those are the months I use to try to recalibrate my brain. We all need a little bit of recalibration sometimes. We all need to understand that. We all need to understand that white supremacy is not just racist white guys hurling the N-word at you. White supremacy is the entire system. It's the entire corrupt organization known as America. Taking on white supremacy is a full-time job. It's a very tiring job. Oh yes, it's very, very, very tiring. But does that mean that you give up? Hell motherfucking no. If you don't fight white supremacy daily, then white supremacy has the upper hand on you. Fighting white supremacy is a full-time job. It requires an unrealistic level of resolve. And a lot of that weed, man. Fighting white supremacy sometimes means fighting your own family, but it must be done for the progress of our black people. After 1968, a lot of our black leaders got scared off by the amount of death attached with activism. A lot of our leaders get scared off by low numbers. No clout. No views. No likes. No donations. They get scared off by that. Because they're not actually in the struggle to really be in the struggle. They're not actually fighting activism to fight activism. They're not actually in the movement to help black people. See, I know my videos is going to reach the right black people at the right times. Sometimes it may be tomorrow. Sometimes it may be next year. But every single video, 1 view or 100 views, I'm going to give it my all. Fighting white supremacy means taking on everybody. Yourself, your family, the powers that be. And after 1968, a lot of our black leaders got scared off. A lot of them. Because anyone who stood against white supremacy was killed, murdered, or jailed, or put on drugs. This system uses so many attacks, acts of sabotage towards black people. That is the sole objective of the United States government. To disrupt any black progress by all means, even if it requires the government to employ anti-black immigrants, aliens, and illegal migrants whose sole focus is to always and will always be to destroy foundational black Americans. This is why the new black media was invented. This is why people like Tariq, Nasheed, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth. Gave way to this new form of black media. You see, they created a counter-offense strategy for black folks to live by that in time will dismantle white supremacy. Over the last 12 years, we have watched the new black media chip away at white fragility, ushering in this new dawn of wokeism. The word that many white people have a hard time even describing.
It's Cos Finger, baby.
This word, people cannot even describe to you.
A couple times, and I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So, I mean, woke is sort of the idea that
they can't even define the word.
This is going to be one of those moments that goes viral. I mean, woke is something that's very hard to define, and we've spent an entire chapter defining it. It is sort of the understanding that we need to totally reimagine and redo society in order to create hierarchies of oppression. It's hard to explain in a.
She don't even know the word. She don't even know what it means. Moments like this was only made possible by the new black media, the brief and political pundits behind the scenes, because all of mainstream media looks to the internet to get their content. This right here is the modern entertainment farm on the internet. We give the big guys all their thoughts and expressions because we are actually boots on the ground with the people. So it's no surprise that now we see more enlightened black pundits on Hill Rising and stuff like that on television, because people like Tariq, Nasheed, Hidden Color Films shed light on our history and gave us way more confidence in ourselves, way more education. We could say that these guys created the black intelligentsia, for real, for real.
It's Cos Finger, baby.
We now have black think tanks pulling together the ghetto's brightest minds to discuss politics and how to move forward as black people. Delineating ourselves. It's
Cos Finger, baby.
From flat blackness. From other black figures in the diaspora, such as Caribbeans, Africans, other nationalities, Mexicans, Boricuas, Dominicans, anything that is not foundational black American descendants of American slavery, we now view as other. Because these other nationalities came to America and aligned themselves with white supremacy to the black Americans' detriment. This led to the black pride in which arose out the fires. The black pride which arose out the fires of George Floyd's protests in the 2020s. We did this. Us as black people, we did this. We pushed back and kept pushing back until the government started to crack. I'm not talking about the crack is whack, cocaine stuff, not that. The fires that arose out of the George Floyd protests in the 2020s that foundational black Americans created because we had enough. We are now fighting for our rights. We are now speaking up and out against all forms of racism, bigotry, and anti-black behavior. 2023, we are now speaking out against it all. We don't let no small forms of racism slide by. Why? Because racism could grow into white supremacy, and which it already has. So in order to destroy it, we have to step on even the smallest freaking racist body language. If you're on a train and someone got their feet up towards you, you know what time it is. If you live in New York City, I digress a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. So I started getting in my bag. But we will no longer deal with that as Black Americans living at the bottom of the social hierarchy just because it makes society, quote unquote, feel safe. No. We are pushing back, thinking and finding new and innovative ways to strike back at the United States government and its complicit purveyors of white supremacy. 2023 being the first annual New Black Media Appreciation Month will work wonders going forward. Wonders. Hopefully we can start a new Black Media Award show hosted at the Hidden History Museum every April, so that we can award the hard work that goes into journalism in these new Black corners, and these new Black niche markets, these new Black YouTubers like Tariq Reloaded, Black Alpha Network, Alpha Elite, Kid Gravity, and all the others carving out their niche in the FBA Black marketplace. This is still a young and early time in the movement, but we have so many more obstacles ahead of us. Foundational Black Americans, we have to expect the pushback. Even more pushback, the hardest pushback that we probably ever had pushback. Because when it comes to Black Americans, our depravity is what motivates this country. Black poverty is what makes the average American smile in the morning and sleep good at night. Knowing that somewhere in the projects is a Black baby crying because he ain't got no infant. Or somewhere in America, a Black man is having his rights deprived by a Gestapo race soldier acting as police. The normalization of anti-Black behavior will no longer go unnoticed. And our Black people will no longer be asleep. We shall use technology. We shall use technology as the Black benefit, as long as it is available to Black Americans. FBA will use communication like a 12-gauge shotgun to blow a hole in the chest cavity of white supremacy. This is why the new Black media is important. And for this reason, I dedicate this video to everyone who has come before me on YouTube and everyone that will come after Flea on YouTube and any other streaming service. The new Black media must never die. It must always come from the Black grassroots and boots on the ground. The new Black media must always be thinking ahead and moving forward. And always be moving to the drum of foundational Black Americans. Because in Black society, the streets dictate the agenda. That being said, y'all, FBA all day, peace and reparations. See y'all on the next one. Roman Reigns, they gonna get you up out of here today, nigga.